All right. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here at the Lee County Emergency Operations Center. I am Board Chairman Commissioner Mike Greenwell. Here with me today are Commissioner Kevin Ruane, Commissioner Cecil Pendergrass, Commissioner Ray Sandelli, Commissioner Brian Hammond. Also, County Manager Dave Harner, School Superintendent Ken Savage, Sheriff Carmine Marcino, Florida Highway Patrol Lieutenant Greg Bueno, and Major William Harris, and our Director of Public Safety, Benjamin Abus. We have some very important updates regarding Hurricane Milton. This morning, we will hear from each of us. You will hear from each of us. But first, I would like to turn it over to Ben Abus.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to our media partners for helping us get this important information out to the community. We've been working, as you know, the last couple of days on a number of different scenarios with Hurricane Milton. And as of 11:55, Milton is now a very dangerous Category 5 hurricane. Residents need to be aware that the forecast includes sustained tropical storm force winds and potentially sustained hurricane force winds across the Lee County community at its peak. Winds will start to impact our area Tuesday evening and will continue through the overnight hours and throughout the day on Wednesday. And we currently have a forecasted storm surge of 5 to 10 feet along our coastline and up the rivers. Because of these conditions, the county is ordering a mandatory evacuation of zones A and B effective today at noon. If you live in one of these zones, you should complete your preparations and move to an area outside of the evacuation zone by Tuesday evening. Again, this is a mandatory evacuation of zones A and B. Everyone in zones A and B should move to a safe place by Tuesday evening. If the forecast track or intensity changes, more evacuations may be necessary later today or tomorrow morning. And as a reminder, you'll be much more comfortable if you have a friend or family member's home to go to outside of these evacuation zones. But if you don't have a plan, we are beginning the process today of opening some emergency shelters. These shelters will open today at 3 p.m. to help support those that would like to move a little bit early. These 3 shelters are Island Coast High School in North Cape Coral, Dunbar High School in Fort Myers, and Estero Recreation Center in Estero. All Lee County shelters accept pets. You must have them in a crate or on a leash. And for more information about the shelters that are open, please visit leegov.com/storm. Again, you don't necessarily need to leave today. You only need to be in a safe place by Tuesday evening. Tomorrow morning, we will announce more shelters that will be available to the community. But we encourage you to make more comfortable arrangements by staying with a friend or family member outside of these evacuation zones. In addition to these efforts, we have started our special needs shelter call down, and that facility will open today. Only those that have pre-registered qualify for this shelter, and pre-registration closes once Lee County is in a 5-day forecast cone. Again, for the most up-to-date information about evacuations and open shelters, please visit leegov.com/storm. Transportation to our shelters is also available. Effective immediately, Lee Tran has suspended fares and all service will be free. You can go to any Lee Tran stop and let the driver know that you are requesting transportation to a shelter. They will get you to a transfer center and then to one of the available shelters. If you require additional assistance with transportation, you can call the Emergency Information Hotline by calling 211 or 239-433-3900. A couple more updates regarding transportation. Effective immediately and with these evacuation orders, tolls on all Lee County bridges have been suspended. This includes the Midpoint Bridge, the Cape Coral Bridge, and the Sanibel Causeway. Also, regarding curfews, we plan to announce information about these as we get closer to the time of impact and we're working very closely with our municipal partners to ensure that there's coordination of those efforts. Finally, a couple of notes about county operations. Our county offices, as you're aware, close today at noon, and they'll remain closed through Thursday. Household solid waste collection is suspended Tuesday through Thursday, and we'll be preparing some messaging on Thursday for how household services will be resumed after Milton passes by. We continue to work diligently to collect debris at the curb from Hurricane Helene, but as we said yesterday, please do not place additional debris at the curb. Our crews are working to get the debris that is already out collected before the storm makes its impacts here, and we don't want any new debris to be out while the winds are at their peak. Lee-Trans service continues as scheduled today and will continue tomorrow as long as weather conditions allow. And effective at noon today, all Lee-Trans buses stopped running routes onto Fort Myers Beach, and all Lee-Trans services have converted specifically to off-island transit only. And next, I will introduce Commissioner Brian Hammond for some comments. Commissioner?
Thanks, Ben. It's a privilege to join you today along with my colleagues on the Board of County Commissioners. The first thing I wanted to say today is I just wanted to make the point that you do not want to drown in storm surge. All right? We're issuing these mandatory evacuations for Zone A and Zone B today because we know that there's a threat of life-threatening storm surge heading our way, and you don't want to drown. We saw Hurricane Ian just 2 years ago here in Lee County, and unfortunately we saw during that storm, people made 911 calls looking for help, but because the conditions were too bad, we couldn't send people out to help them out. We don't want that to happen again. We have plenty of time between now and tomorrow evening for you to make a plan and get out of those flood zones in Zone A and Zone B. So here's how I would handle this. If you don't know what evacuation zone you're in, I would go to Google right now and Google Lee County evacuation zones. I'd click on that map and I'd look for where I'm at, look for my street address. You could also go to leegov.com/storm and click on preparing for a hurricane. There's a link there that would take you to the evacuation zones. Find out what evacuation zone you're in right now. If you live in a zone that typically floods, meaning you got water during Ian, you got water during Adelia, you got water during Debbie and Helene, you're probably going to get water this time too, okay? You know you're going to get it. Don't wait around. Don't stay in the water. Don't take chances. We can always replace the stuff. We can't replace you. We want you to be safe, and we want you to have a place to go outside of that flood zone. If you're somebody who does live in a newer constructed concrete block home outside of that flood zone, how would I handle it? I'd put my hurricane shutters up and I'd ride it out there. You'll be fine in a brand new constructed home that's built to the latest Florida hurricane building codes. That's what I'm doing at my personal house. We'll put the shutters up. In fact, mine are already up. I know a lot of people on social media are asking, should we put the shutters up for this one? Yes, you'll lose out on absolutely nothing by putting your hurricane shutters up now. You'll be safe and you'll be able to make it through the storm. But I want you to know that the team behind me is very prepared. We're ready to help you get through this storm, but you have time to prepare and you now have a responsibility to prepare. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Hammond. And I'm Ken Savage. I'm from the School District of Lee County as the superintendent. And today, one of the things I wanted to make sure that I shared, number one, first and foremost, is when our governor declared a state of emergency and our legislature always comes into action, they take care of all of our communities. But today, for us, is really about our local leadership. Our local county commissioners and our county manager, our local sheriff, all of our local leaders, they are in charge with our safety, and that is what we are doing here today. That is why we're communicating to our community. It's an honor as a school superintendent to be able to host some of our shelters, open up many of our schools to be able to save those folks who Commissioner Hammond talked about earlier that could be in floods harm. And we encourage you to avail yourselves of those things. We want everyone to make sure they do everything they can to get to safety. That's why we canceled school Monday through Thursday and why we continue to take every measure we can to keep everyone safe this week. That said, safety is everyone's responsibility. So if you do not yet have a plan, if you have not taken those precautions, now is the time to do it. That said, again, tremendous gratitude for our county leadership. They keep us safe. Next, I want to introduce a man who really needs no introduction because he keeps us safe 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and that is Sheriff Carmine Mercino.
Thanks for being here, everybody. First and foremost, The biggest point today, and that I ask of everyone, is to really pay close attention. And I thank all of you from the media to get that message out there. As we've seen post-Hurricane Ian, everyone here, your leadership locally, from the state all the way down from our governor, you name it, all the way down to CFO, Jimmy Petronis, down to our county commissioners, your elected officials, everybody here is working as a team. But we need the residents to pay close attention. And what does that mean? Well, a storm comes through. We've seen it with Ian. It's before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm. It's a three-prong approach here. And you do not want to wait. This storm is deadly. Mother Nature is unpredictable. We've seen it. Okay, we know the storm surge is what really takes lives. Okay, and people are concerned about what category storm. Is it a 1, a 3, a 5? I'm here to tell you that it doesn't matter what category of storm. Okay, we watch that, we pay attention, we monitor, and we know the wind speeds and the gusts. You got to pay close attention to the surge. That surge is deadly. Deadly. We're talking about a 12-foot surge. That's like a basketball hoop. So we want people to pay attention and know that your sheriff's office, we have deployed all our resources. Lee County's over 1,200 square miles, and we have deployed resources everywhere. The beach ends. We know the low-laying areas, obviously Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel, Captiva, Boca Grande, and all over. Okay, ATVs, the shallow water boats, the high water rescue vehicles, everything is already deployed. Manpower is allocated. We are ready for anything that comes our way, but we pray for the best. And our thoughts and prayers are those that were just affected with Helene across the state. So please, if nothing else today, pay very close attention and get out of harm's way. When we hit a sustained wind of 45 miles an hour or more, we no longer respond. The sheriff's office, EMS, fire, all the local personnel, emergency responders will not be able to get to you. And then it is too late. So make sure you take action today. Be proactive. Get to a safe place no matter what. And afterwards, like the commissioner said, we can rebuild buildings. We can fix roadways, but we can't bring back lives. And we never want to lose one person. Safety is always going to be paramount. And rest well knowing that the great people in this county who are standing here, the decision makers, we got you. We got you every step of the way. Your safety is paramount, and we will ensure it. We ask of you to help us and be part of that team. So we'll be giving you updates throughout the storm. But again, Mother Nature being unpredictable, get out of harm's way now. It's most important. It's my honor to introduce our family from the Florida Highway Patrol, Lieutenant Greg Bueno. Thank you.
Good afternoon. The Florida Highway Patrol is focusing on keeping our evacuation routes open and free-flowing as possible. Additionally, as the week progresses, we will be assisting with our local and county partners at every activated emergency operations center across the state and with any requested missions. We, too, want to reiterate the importance of following the advice of your local county operations centers and officials. If traveling to another area, be sure to have a plan in place, all needed supplies for your family, and that your vehicle is in good working condition. And as a reminder, it's better to evacuate sooner than later. Star FHP is available as a service to the public should motorists need assistance. Stay calm, stay informed, and stay safe. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'd also like to add to that, this storm is unprecedented. We haven't seen a storm that's come across so much water like this directly at us. So it could be catastrophic. So let's all pay attention. The next 24 hours is going to be very important, obviously, and we want everyone to be safe. So you're going to get a lot of communication. Please pay attention, and if we're asked to leave, please leave. At this time, I'm going to bring up Ben Abus to answer some questions. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions?
So around the time do you expect to maybe possibly send out other evacuation orders?
So So we're constantly evaluating the current intensity, track, and especially the storm surge forecast. We get those updates from the Weather Service now every 3 hours with a full package every 6 hours. Every time those forecast cycles occur, we're constantly reevaluating that information to see if additional evacuations may be necessary. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.